What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again with yet another episode of No Gimmicks Podcast alongside my tag team partner Dale Clifford out there in Fernley, Nevada. Dale, what is good, my man?
What up, Todd? Good to see you again. Definitely looking forward to what we got coming today. A highly anticipated interview with Reno Scum's Adam Thornstowe. Very excited for this one.
My man, Adam Thornstowe, 2015 King of the Indies. Also, our former trainer and current Impact Wrestling superstar. Adam, what's good, brother? Been a long time, man.
Yeah, man. Just happy to be on here, able to do it. So let's just get down to it, huh?
Hell yeah. So let's start off here first and foremost, man. Recently, you underwent a procedure for your bicep tear, which has kept you out of action for a little while. Just please give us and your fans an update as how your recovery's going.
So I ruptured my biceps tendon wrestling, and then I don't know if you guys could see it. There's a scar right there. So they went in and they drilled a hole through my arm, and it's like a button, and it hooks the tendon back up. You can see I'm moving real good. I'll be back for Slammiversary.
Yes.
Now assuming that we're on the show, but I'm cleared to wrestle. By that time, I'm not cleared currently. We're accepting bookings as of July 7th because Impact tapings are July 1st through July 6th. But
right.
Yeah, I ruptured that just over a month ago. There was the video on Impact. I'm way ahead of rehab. I'm up to like 10-pound weights right now. It's a little humbling, but it's a big step. I'm not even supposed to be able to lift like 2 pounds right now by the book. So covered along real good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So obviously, earlier on Facebook, you kind of let the cat out of the bag that you're going to be starting to take bookings again July 7th. And then obviously in answering Todd's question, you said that you'll be ready for a Slammiversary. Let's hope that you're on it.
Yeah.
So going forward, how quickly are you going to kind of be back on Impact? Or is Slammiversary kind of the target date, or are you going to be there before then?
No, Slammiversary's always been the goal since this happened. I told every promoter, regardless of, I'll probably be ready to wrestle in June. I'll take the extra month just to strengthen it. Slammiversary is always the comeback date, regardless of anybody else.
Right on, Adam. So it's going to definitely be good to see you back in the Impact Wrestling ring. So now that we know that your return is not too far off, who's going to be the first unlucky SOB that's going to fall victim to one of your curb stomps once you make your return?
I don't know, man. LAX is out there running their mouths. You got Veterans of War right now. I don't know. Whoever Impact puts us in the ring with, I don't have any insight to it, but Reno Scum's always say knuckles up and ready to put him down someone's throat. So a lot of Doc Martin dental plans in a lot of people's futures.
I like that, man. Yeah, what you got next for
Lars Fredrickson, actually. We stole that from his band.
Good stuff, man. Dale, what you got for Adam?
So explain to us what it was like once you received word that you and Dave were going to be signing with Impact Wrestling and going to be on national TV on a weekly basis. So
I don't actually think I've told this story. There was a point, I'll just tell you that day was, I was getting ready for a powerlifting meet. You can see the first set of Impact tapings is a little heavy. I was eating McDonald's watching my kids play, and I was just kind of like, I might do some powerlifting for a while, kind of take a backseat to wrestling. And I was still motivated, but things weren't happening. And so that's Tuesday. So backtrack a little bit to Sunday or Saturday. I don't know. Dave and I were going to a booking. And he was like, "Hey, man, did you hear Jeff Jarrett took back Impact Wrestling?" And I was like, "Yeah, do this powerlifting meet. I'll get back in shape, get my abs back and all that. And maybe we'll send him an email," because we had done Global Force for Jeff. And I was just sitting there getting fat at McDonald's, watching my kids play, and I get this text message, and I had gotten a new phone, so I didn't have a lot of numbers, and it said, "Hey, Adam, this is Jeff Jarrett. Can we talk around 3 p.m. today?" I was like, "Sure, man." Text Dave. I assumed like Global Force was going to do some more stuff too or something, and literally he said, "Hey, how's your wife? How's your kids? How's Dave? How's his wife? How's his kids? Enough the small talk. Do you guys want to come work for me at Impact?"
Nice.
So I mean, it was like, holy crap, man! Like, just they always say that like wrestling kind of happens out of the blue, and it's funny because kind of contemplating like I wasn't gonna like quit this year or next year or anything, but I was looking at like an end game, and this just breathes new life back into like we're signed with Impact through I think February of 2019. So we got the opportunity now to be finally on pay-per-view, not pay-per-view, but actual pay-per-view. I mean, goal is to be world tag team champions. We've been tag team champions, all the regional or whatever you want to call them, play independent organizations we've been in. So yeah, I mean, it was like surreal, and I can't remember the date off the top of my head. It's written down, but I'm gonna get that tattooed right here. The date and time that Jeff actually called. So that'll be the next tattoo I get. Just because, like, one of the bucket list goals was always to be offered a contract from a national and international, because Impact's international wrestling organization, and it was just kind of crazy when the contract came in the mail. My wife's just got personal video of me just signing it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a dream come true, because it was just kind of like, man, like we've been grinding and not like other people don't, but it's just like, we gonna do this or what? And it was just kind of surreal and whatever, because Lester and I were just kind of like, yeah, man, we'll send Jeff a email here in a couple weeks or whatever, months, and he, all the people, and I think Lester said this on different podcasts, but everybody gave it, not everybody, but a bunch of people gave us crap for doing Global Force, and they thought it was a gimmick and blah, blah, blah. But we got paid really well to do Global Force, and now we're on Impact Wrestling because of Global Force, and now Global Force is a part of Impact Wrestling. And that's bittersweet because we weren't there for the merger, for those tapings, But yeah, it's surreal. I don't know. I got recognized finally, like,
oh yeah, man.
Dude at the gym was like, "Hey man, do you wrestle on TV?" And I was just like, "Man, it's cool,
You got dang right that I am on TV nowadays. Now that you landed with Impact Wrestling, Adam, this is a question that actually came from from someone on Facebook. We'll actually acknowledge him later on. He had asked, "What is your view on Impact Wrestling's position in today's wrestling landscape as a whole?"
I'm not saying this because I'm part of the company. I still think that they're number 2. I don't know the ratings, but you look at production value, you look at the turnaround we're doing right now. Went through a big shift, but they brought in a bunch of new talent. Some talent who had previously been there. They had redone some stuff like LAX, the women's division, tag team wrestling's, it doesn't go on the back burner for Impact. The X division's coming back. I think it's a good product. I know people don't like it. I know people don't like the WWE. I know people don't like ROH. So it's a different flavor of ice cream. I like it because I get paid well. Get national TV. Like I said, it's a dream come true. It's not Northern California, so that's awesome.
Right.
And like the environment there too is so laid back. Like, because I've done extra work for WWE and I've done camps for WWE, and not me personally as much, but like a lot of people feel like they're walking on eggshells, and it's like, oh, can I look at that guy? Or, you know what I mean? Like Impact, like Jeff's running around with the boy, it's cool. It's like a family there. And like the guys there were very accepting of us to come in, and very helpful. So we're blessed to be there. And I really do think it's number 2. I think there's a lot of good stuff. It's a good time to be a professional wrestler.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, that is for sure. Now, is it what's the adjustment been like when it comes to coming out to the theme music that you do in Impact Wrestling as to what you kind of had been using for so many years on the independent circuit?
It's a little different. You just make it work, though. I mean, they catch on. There's some explosion matches where they're catching on. The last match on TV, right at my injury, was us against Decay and Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. And, you could hear the oys. It just takes time to catch on. And, like, I mean, we tape a lot, you know what I mean? In the span of, I think we tape like 2 episodes per day over the course of 4 days. So, you know, sometimes you're shoving it down people's throat, and Oi kind of developed organically. So theme music wise though, it's cool. Yeah, obviously it's different because we've used the same song for 10 years. And James Storm gave me good advice. You know, he's like, get the guy to send you the file, download it, put your headphones on, and just walk down the ramp with it, you know, before the show with it in your head. Because, I mean, it's hard to hear, but we're actually the guys saying "oi" in the song. They brought us into the sound booth and had us do the dub overs and stuff like that, so, or whatever they call it. I don't know any of that stuff, but
That's good
yeah,
stuff.
it's kind of, you know, because like I was such a fan of Shawn Michaels singing his theme song when I was a kid, and I was like, cool, my voice is. I'm not singing the song, but we're the ois. So
There we go. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, for sure, it's different, and it's TV. So with the indies, you know, I always made a joke with Lester, was like, Reno Scum's all entrance and finish. Like, we come out, we jack up the crowd with the ois, and we take our time. Then we hit the big curb stomp and go to the merch table. TV, like, I'm not going to take 2 to 3 minutes to do an entrance because I have 8 minutes, you know, and I'm not going to waste 3 of them walking around the ring. So,
Right.
but
So
you know, I had to catch on, and I don't know. I'm happy with what we've done so far.
right on, man. We've enjoyed your work so far too. So credit Big Steve for this. Big Steve Pankowski. He was the one who told me the name of y'all's former theme song. It was by Resilience, right? And it's the piss poor anthem.
Yep.
Man, I'm telling you, knowing damn well that if I probably ran into them dudes on a dark alleyway, they probably kick my ass. But I get pumped up listening to that.
Nah,
like,
man,
promo for you, man.
Good dudes.
Yeah, you've had the chance to interact with them.
Yeah. I've been to a couple shows. They've known we've used the song for years. Yeah, they're really good dudes. They're just a boy band out of Petaluma.
Oh, okay.
Petaluma, somewhere
Right
up there. Yeah.
So while we're on the topic of entrance music here, we're gonna jump over to NXT for a second. So recently, a female wrestler debuted by the name of Ruby Riott, and when she comes out, her theme features a chant, which y'all have made popular: the "Oi, Oi, Oi." So what's your thoughts?
I know her theme song said "Oi."
What's that?
I thought her theme song said "Hey, someone." I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, it says "Oi." It does. So I mean,
you know, it's I had met her on the indies a couple times. She's a really nice girl.
okay.
So, you know, I mean, it's wrestling. Terry Funk said steal everything, and you know what I mean. So it's is what it is.
Yeah, it's all good, huh?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're all making money, I guess, so that's good. But
Truth.
We're the innovators. We got Christina in there now, and nobody says "oi" more than her. It's a little annoying with it, but I love her like a sister. But I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, what you got next for Adam, man?
So it's been quite of a journey for you since you began kicking ass and taking names back in PCW in the early 2000s.
Yep.
Although we're familiar with your career and your background, please share with us what inspired you to enter the professional wrestling business, who trained you, and which companies you've worked for prior to joining Impact Wrestling.
So, I mean, I'm just like anybody else. I grew up watching it. I love the Macho Man. I mean, that was like my guy when I was 4 or 5, you know. I loved WrestleMania 4. I hated WrestleMania 5. And then I hated WrestleMania 7.
We all did.
Awesome. You know? Yeah, I loved Savage, and he was larger than life. And I don't know. So I just watched it forever. And, you know, I was just like captivated by it. My dad was a bodybuilder. So that kind of all went hand in hand. And they used to work out the old Gold's Gym in Reno when WWE would come to Reno for house shows and like Superstars tapings one time and stuff like that. So he'd take me to the gym because they'd all be there. So I got a bunch of old pictures when I'm, I don't know, 8 or 9, Bushwhackers and Ricky Steamboat and Jake and all those guys. And it was like, man, it's cool. But I do remember like when I was like, man, like they're just regular people though. You know what I mean? Like it kind of like took me back a little bit because they were so nice. You know what I mean? And Jake the Snake wasn't a nice guy, you know, I think around that time. And so he grew up, and around high school, I was like, maybe this isn't a phase, you know, and I turned down a gymnastics scholarship to UC Berkeley to a guy named Brian Brigger had started Coastal Pro Wrestling. Brian was a jobber for WWE in the early 90s. This guy who got his feet lit on fire by Papa Shango. And we're in like an old school, like Rocky boxing gym. That's where the ring was set up. Zach Reeb's dad of PCW built us our first ring.
Okay.
And we just trained, and we were, I don't know if I was in the ring or Lester was in the ring or whatever. We were running drills one day, and big old dude comes in. He's like, "Hey, who runs this stuff?" You know, and I was outside the ring. Lester jumped out of the ring, and he's like, and we both at the same time were like, "That's Mustafa," you know, and Mustafa kind of took over from there. He was super cool. And when I think I was probably, you know, junior, senior in high school watching ECW when it was on TNN or Spike or whatever it was on. And even before then, I watched ECW a lot, and I was like, I don't know, man. I want to be a wrestler, but I don't know if I want to wrestle the gangsters, you know. And
hell no,
I
man.
kind of feel like Lester and I do credit to the gangsters a little bit, especially in the early Scum days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people were legitimately afraid of us and stuff like that. Like they were of New Jack and Mustafa. So I always thought that was cool that I got that from Jamal. Jamal taught me how to make money, even if you didn't have a contract, to know your worth and your value and when to say no. You're not going to drive, you know, 500 miles for $20 if it's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like there's times you drive 500 miles for $20 because of where it is or who you're in front of. And then there's times where you say, yeah, I'm just going to sit this one out.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as promotions, I've worked the alphabet of California, Nevada. So Pro Championship Wrestling in Yuba City, Supreme Pro Wrestling in Sacramento were really the two places that really got my start. They were running a lot more back then. It seemed, maybe not PCW, but SPW was running like every 2 weeks. So like you could just wrestle. And I don't remember all the letters of, you know, the fly by night companies, but I was taking all those bookings year like 1 through 3. And then I got into all pro wrestling finally, and I got fired. And I don't remember why either. Or I guess just not brought back. Then the Scum came into APW. I don't know, probably let's say 2007 or something like that. We ran a angle with guys like Oliver John and whatnot, and Kafu, and then we got fired for whatever reason. I don't know, because people like believed, like, I mean, we were the Reno Scum too. Don't get me wrong, like we were partying, and I mean, we were all bachelors for the most part. I mean, not Steve and Shane, but like. They were partying too, and not as much as me and Luster. They were keeping an eye on us. Lance was partying, Otis.
Yeah, my dude.
Because the Scum was, you know, it was 5 people when we started, and then we had guys that were part of the Reno Scum, but weren't part of the Reno Scum on camera, like Malachi and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Chupacabra, stuff like that. So, like, I mean, there was just like a group of us, and then it kind of dwindled into Luster and I. You know, Lester and I wanted to make it regardless, and kind of settled down. And I don't know, that was kind of, but the original Reno Scum days, I mean, we were thugs, you know, like I remember being in mosh pits and stuff, and kids picking fights with Lester and I, and we beat up like 4 or 5, not kids, but, you know, young adults one night. And like all the little punk rock kids in Reno were like, man, you guys are like a gang, but there's only 2 of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we just kind of ran with it. And I don't know, I probably got off topic. I ramble a lot, but
No, it's all good, man. Hey, you know, this is your time. I mean, I'm just going to tell a quick story real quick here, Adam. Yeah. So it's funny how things, you know, go full circle. I remember this is back around about maybe 2001 or so. Right. I got a gig doing security at Allen Witt for a show called Deep Impact. For Pro Championship Wrestling.
That's my debut.
And there were these 2 young white dudes who were from Reno. And I remember, like, you know, Schizo was there, you know, all them other dudes I knew, like Big Sexton and all them. They were like, yo, man, there's some guys from over there in Reno, Todd, you should go meet them. And so I went over and I tried to talk to Corey. I don't think Corey wanted to talk to me. But I went over to you.
Converted.
And you were cool. You shook my hand. And I was just like, all right, this guy Adam, he seems cool, and whatnot. And I remember y'all went out there and you had your match, and I was feeling it. It's just like, these guys are pretty good. I remember like post show, I'm all talking y'all up to Schizo and everything. I was like, yo, man, I was like, these two kids from Reno, watch out for them, man. They got talent, whatnot. You know how Schizo was, though. Schizo was
yeah.
Those guys effing sucked, man. That was Schizo, though. And
right,
lo and behold, 2010, I wound up being trained by this dude. You know what I mean? Yep. So seeing you make the evolution, man, from like the, the untattooed, like skinny kid that you were down to the muscle bound, tattooed badass, man. It's been cool. It's been cool seeing that.
Yeah, it was cool. So Zach's dad was building our ring during that time when Corey and I had our debut match. That was our debut match. It was like, I think it was like June 10th, 2001, or I don't remember the date, but
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I got it written down somewhere because my anniversary, it'll be 16 years in June.
Wow.
But that match, I mean, Schizo probably said it to you that way, but Schizo and Zach said it to us like, hey, man, like, you guys are really rough around the edges, but you guys can come to the work farm until your ring's built for free. They scholarshiped us.
Nice.
So we drive every Saturday, and Malachi and Luster, and then it just wound up Corey, Malachi, and we would drive to Yuba and just wrestle all day. I learned a lot through Schizo at that point. He was very knowledgeable, but I thought it was cool because, I think Corey still has the match too. I haven't watched it in like 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's awful, but it's a good first match, but it's awful. Because I'm just like, here's a backflip, and then whatever, here's Corey doing, I don't know, God knows what. And, nobody's selling anything. But yeah, I mean, it was so fun. I was so dumb because I remember being in the parking lot, and I don't remember who said it. It was like Stank Breath Steve or something. He's like, did you guys get paid? Or I was like, I don't know, are we supposed to? Because nobody had gone over that with me at that point, So I was just happy to be here. On a couple things for gas money and just did it,
Damn straight, man. Hey, so with being one of the members of one of the most feared factions in NorCal, Northern Nevada history, that's one part of you. But also the other side is you recently, within the last couple of years, became a father of twins.
Yes.
And just kind of curious, man, how difficult is it finding the balance between home life and life on the road?
I don't know, because my wife played roller derby forever. She was part of the Battleborn Derby Demons here in Reno. So she traveled a lot too before we had kids. I wouldn't say we have a traditional household as far as like we eat dinner at 5. And, you know what I mean? Like, it's organized chaos. She's a very busy woman too, in healthcare. So it just worked. We didn't know what to expect. People were like, oh my God, how do you do it too? But that's just our normal life. You know what I mean? Like, there were just two always. We don't know what one's like. It's not perfect, there's bad days. I was like on the edge of they're 3.5 now. And I was like, I'm going to have to cancel this podcast if y'all don't settle down. Cause they're driving my wife crazy a little bit, I was like, you got to settle down. But you just make it work. It's tough, especially with Impact now. Like, I'm gone, 5-6 days, and we have a lot of help between my mom and her mom and dad here in Reno. And we just somehow make it work, man, because that's what you do, I mean, I'm responsible for that. She's responsible for that, or them, or not. You know what I mean? Like, that's first always. I don't care. I don't care if I'm supposed to be on a plane. Like, if something's wrong with my babies, then that's it,
Truth.
Or if something's wrong, I'll fly home. But and I mean, not to sidetrack, but I got heat from a promoter one time. I think with my daughter, she was like super sick, and like my wife had to take her into the ER, and I was just kind of like, I'm not going to come today, man. I'm really sorry. And she started feeling better, and Luster was running a show in town, and it was this kid, Ryan McQueen's last match. And Luster's like, hey, your wife said it's cool if you want to come wrestle Ryan, because Ryan was going to wrestle some new kid, and it was his last match, and I trained him, and I was like, yeah, man. But the promoter saw that and he thought I canceled the show and used my kid as an excuse. And I was like, nah, I'm not a big karma guy, but I would never like use my kid as an excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't do that stuff. And that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because that promoter's a dad too. And whatnot. It's like, come on, dude. Like, yeah, whatever, suck it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can go to hell, right?
Well, I like him. Don't get me wrong, and I'd work for him. It's just like I just heard through the grapevine, and like a lot of things. Like if people don't want to say it to me, I ain't gonna worry about it.
True.
You know, like not Mr. PMA, but like I'm 34 years old. I don't have time for your BS, man. Like, woohoo.
Yeah. Shout out to Ats and Stella for settling down so we can get this podcast in the air here. So, Dale, what you got for Adam next, man?
All right, so another responsibility that you have besides of being your wrestling career and obviously being a family man is taking on a role as a trainer, which obviously that's what me and Todd kind of started off in the being a couple of your very first students. So who is your most successful student and what is your proudest moment as a trainer?
Well, I don't know. Like I'm really proud of the crop of guys we have right now. I guess if you measured it in like accomplishments, it would be Carl Fredericks. He goes by the Big F and Deal. The story with Carl is they were holding an open tryout at the Reno Wrestle Factory, and I had been kind of inactive, but I love open tryouts. I think they're cool because people leave their blood and guts in the ring to get a scholarship. But I walked in and I saw this kid Carl, and I didn't know he was already enrolled. And I looked at Steve or Lester. I was like, that kid wins regardless. He's 6'1", he's 215 at the time. He's got movie star good looks, and they're like, oh, he already signed up. And I was like, oh, whatever. But I watched him work, wrestle and roll around, and I was like, man, you're really good. Like, give it a couple more months, and I will help you get in contact with the WWE. And I did. He sent him a really nice email. He did most of it on his own. I gave him an email address, and he double checked with me, but they brought him out to the PC. They didn't hire him. Then they brought him back 18 months later, and they still didn't hire him, but they're really high on him. He just won the All Pro Wrestling Internet Championship at the Cow Palace.
Nice.
He works very, very hard, but it's not to discredit my other students. Chocolate Poppy Steiger Green, he is literally the most athletically gifted. Like, he's annoyingly athletic. Like, we'll be doing box jumps like up to our chest, which I don't know. I'm not a tall guy, so that's maybe 5 feet. Right now, I don't know. But,
5'9". Give yourself some credit, man.
Yeah, and I mean, we're all warmed up. Like, we've been building up, and like he'll walk in the gym super casual, right? And like he'll just jump up and do it. Like, annoyingly athletic. Really driven now. Just had to get some stuff together. A kid named Bison Braddock. Very rough around the edges, but took the get your body together very seriously. They call him the burpee kid because the minute the doors open at a wrestling event, he's doing burpees until his match. I mean, it's insane to watch. Like, and that's not a joke. So yeah, but Carl's probably most successful if you put it on a sheet of paper. You know what I mean? But they all get bookings. I measure success in the fact that Luster, Steve, and I gave you the green light, and now you can go work. And the success comes back because the Reno Wrestle Factory kids are in demand. The Reno Wrestle Factory kids are booked everywhere. And then people send me emails about how respectful they are and how good they are. So, it's a pat on the back. And you and Dale were like, lack of better term, like lab rats, we back in, what was that, 2010, right? You said?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, I had just been to WWE camps or I was getting ready to, and, like I knew some stuff, but I didn't know what I know now you know what I mean? So like, it's a learning process always. And, I don't know, Wrestle Factory moved around a lot, and I'm proud of everybody who walked through those doors and stuck with it for a while,
Hell yeah. So real quick here, a couple things I'd like to share. Carl Fredericks actually will be our guest on the No Gimmicks podcast later this summer. He is coming on, I believe, in July. Cool. I believe we set up a date with him. And then Steiker, this is Steiker Nangaseki, I believe it's pronounced. Young brother from up there.
Gongaseki. The end silent.
Okay, I never will pronounce that right in a million years. But that dude, very polite, very humble. I've talked to him a couple of times on Facebook, and yeah, he's looking, I think, to start to get some stuff going on YouTube and whatnot. So we kind of shared some thoughts together and whatnot. So coming up here, next question. Speaking of two of those guys, they're both members of this new crew which you have started. Look at your hat there, BGC. So kind of compare and contrast for not only our viewers but also for us, because I haven't got really the chance to see much of your guys' work. The difference between, say, the Scum and the Body Guy crew, Adam.
The Body Guy crew was an outside of wrestling thing that was like, there's a lot of members of the BGC. I think Brian Cage and I, because we both competed in bodybuilding and whatnot, originally came up with the name, and Dan Joseph, Southern California wrestler as well. And it was just, the Body Guy crew, like, it's not traditional Body Guy. I mean, Brian Cage obviously is, but the Body Guy crew is guys who just bust their ass in the gym, and you work towards your goals and you smash them and you set new goals. It's not an abs club by any means. It's not a like 235 pound and over crew or anything like that. But I mean, Jeff Cobb's in it, JR Kratos, Steiker, Carl, Kid Wolfgang, Luster. There's tons of members. So, but at Supreme Pro Wrestling, it's me, Carl, and Steiker now. And it was just like kind of because Luster doesn't work for SPW. And it was just like, like, these are my guys, and I don't BS anybody. Like, they're better than a lot of what they were getting. I feel they're like, oh, here's this multi-man match, or they were always an afterthought, but they were getting the best responses and killing it and whatever. So I was like, talked to one of the bookers there, and I was just like, hey, can we do this Body Guy crew thing? Like, I think it'd be really cool. And we wrote out, I think 6 or 7 months worth of stuff, and kind of culminated at their anniversary show in April. But it helped me get outside the Reno Scum box and just kind of have a different personality. And then it helped me get my kids on a different level while still being able to coach them, because I'm literally right there in their corner, like, hey, do this, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. The BGC, like, it's everywhere. I mean, we're dumb. We treat it like a club and stuff like that. Like, official members have tank tops, and we don't sell the tank tops at the merch table. We just sell the T-shirts and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, the kids who rep it, and then the JR Kratoses and Cages and Cobbs and whatnot, they rep it worldwide too. So it's just a thing. I don't know. I take it serious because I like being in the gym.
No, you in the gym? No way, Adam. No way.
You couldn't tell at my
no way, man. So this kid, Wolfgang Danger. We went sub for sub with him. So, I mean, basically that means we supported his channel by subscribing to him, and he supported the No Gimmicks podcast by subscribing to us. Does that kid pay rent at the gym, or does he own a membership? I swear, that dude, I mean, I've seen his progress that he's made, like, over the last, like, month or so, like, as he's been preparing. I think it was for a workout competition or a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah,
right?
I'm coaching him for a bodybuilding show right now, and he stepped away from wrestling right now because he wants to be a professional bodybuilder. I mean, he obviously has the genetics to do it and the drive, and he didn't want to go down two paths. So he had a long talk. He finished his commitments, and he's a lifetime member of the BGC too. He just trying to open up new doors. I want the BGC on bodybuilding.com and stuff like that. And I mean, that's part of attaining levels of success, is you can branch out and do other things and whatnot. So, I mean, the BGC is always on the back burner, like, hey, can I pull the trigger on this? And, get some guys to, or whatever, model it. And right before I signed with Impact, we were getting ready to release Body Girl crew stuff. Because it's not guy exclusive. There's girls in the crew, but we just didn't think, because we're dudes. Nobody. I didn't want anybody to be offended by it, you know. But someone was just like, "Can we get girl on the shirt?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea." So, yeah. But yeah, Wolfgang's awesome, man. He kills it. He's got a good work ethic. He eats exactly what I tell him when I tell him to eat it, and he's gonna kill it at Nevada State. I think that's June 10th.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
So we've had the opportunity to ask you plenty of questions here. So coming up next, Adam, you drew a hell of a response, my man. I think when I counted all of the questions across social media, you had over 20 questions that fans and our viewers and whatnot had asked. So just some of the ones that we have for Facebook. The first one comes from Dwayne Davis.
Okay.
Who I believe is done some work like with the ring crew and whatnot with SPW. So he's curious, has John Cena seen your video doing the 5-knuckle suck it?
Oh no, John never saw it. I mean, he may have, but the video got a lot of views when I had it pinned to my Twitter. I don't think he's never mentioned it. So it was just one of those things, like Young Bucks do DX stuff or whatever, and they've made it their own, and it just kind of happened out of the middle of nowhere. I just did the whatever and ran off the ropes and then did a moonsault, and I've kind of done it a lot on the indies now, and I don't know. It's I like John Cena. I think whatever. He's put on good matches for the past however many years, in my opinion. So it's not like a dig at him. It was just one of the, I don't know how to explain it. Like in the middle of a match, sometimes spur of the moment stuff just happens, and I think the first guy I ever did it on was Jeff Cobb, and it was just to make him laugh, Because I remember being down there, and he's like, "What the hell?" And I was like, "Hold on."
You paying homage?
Yeah, whatever. And I mean, I don't like landing on my hips. So I don't pay homage to the Macho Man and do the top rope elbow because it hurts my hip.
I heard that. So, Dale, what you got next for Adam here?
All right, so we got another viewer question from Daniel. I'm probably going to butcher the last name. Tachella. He wants to know, what's your wrestling bucket list? What's left on it besides John Cena and being a Make-A-Wish contributor?
Yeah, I definitely want to be able to do Make-A-Wish. Like, I just think that would be cool to be able to help out with that kind of stuff. I don't know, like, I still want to go to Japan. I still want to go to Europe, Mexico. Internationally, I guess. And then Reno Scum wants to be Impact World Tag Team Champions.
There you go.
So I don't know. As far as getting the contract was big on the bucket list, and I think that'll open up a lot of doors to kick down the minor things on the bucket list. I want to wrestle LAX. I think those guys are great anyway. I think we'd have a really good match with them. As far as tag teams, I think we've wrestled everybody that I can think of offhand that, there's different combinations of guys who don't team regularly that team, Sammy Callahan and Brian Cage. I think we'd have a great match with them. They team sometimes. And so I don't know. Yeah, bucket list stuff I just kind of take it as it comes now because I'm very fortunate in the position I'm at.
Okay. And if you could had to choose one opponent to main event with, I'll give you three people: Big Ugly Tim Thatcher and Oliver John. Who'd you pick?
Those are really diverse. I mean, all of them, but I don't know, Oliver, I guess, because we've done everything. Like Tim and I are always technical wrestling. Ugly and I have done a lot of hardcore, but Oliver and I have done everything. He was well-rounded like me, and I'm not saying the other guys aren't. It's just kind of the situation Tim and I were put in a lot, or Ugly and I were put in. So, but if there's no one on that list, I would probably pick Jeff Cobb. I think Jeff Cobb or Brian. I don't know. Brian Cage is, man, I've had so many good matches with so many good people that are my friends, It's tough to pick one.
Yeah. I pay good money to see you versus Tim.
Yeah, Tim and I, have had one bad match ever. And then, it's I don't know. It was just an off night. And other than that, I love wrestling Tim. It's easy. Everybody thinks it's hard, for us, like what we do out there, but it's just, I don't know, consummate professional.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does. I'm good at what I do. And it just somehow blends together really well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So coming up next here from Big Steve, another question from Facebook. So which tag team would you guys like to face that you have not faced at this point? Like, I guess if you had like a dream tag team match you could choose.
Pentagon and Phoenix. I don't know what.
Lucha Underground?
Yeah. I don't know what Pentagon goes by now. They tag
El Om. Pentagon El Om.
Yeah. They tag a lot on the indies. Originally at the Cow Palace, before Luster even won the title, the match that was discussed was Brian Cage and Johnny Mundo versus Reno Scum.
Oh, there we go.
And that would have been kind of like, like we wouldn't have blasted it everywhere, but that would have been Lucha Underground versus Impact.
Yeah.
That'd been nice. Yeah.
So, the Briscoes were so high on the list forever, and then we got to wrestle them on ROH TV. I'd like to wrestle the Briscoes where we didn't have a TV time, per se, to where we could put some more time out there, because Mark and Jay are awesome. They were super cool to us every time we ever met them, especially the time we got to work them. And as the story goes, Christopher Daniels had a lot to do with that, so big shout out to him.
The almighty.
We've worked them, but I'd like to work the Briscoes at a non-televised show, I guess, would be my dream.
Okay.
But LAX on Slammiversary pay-per-views, that's what I want.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, definitely, man. So same question from Steve, except for singles opponent, Adam. Who would be the dream match for a singles opponent?
I'm a big fan of Alberto El Patron.
Okay.
He's a really good guy backstage. I've always been a big fan of his work. He's taller than Thatcher, but he wrestles a little bit like Thatcher, but he wrestles a little bit like me, and I think we could pull something off really good too. I'm bad with dream matches because I just like wrestling, man. Like I don't care if I know the kid. I don't care if the kid's known. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like my goal is always to have the best match on the show with whoever I'm in the ring with. So, dream match was I don't know.
John Cena.
I'd like to wrestle Jeff Cobb on a really big stage.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like to wrestle Luster like we were supposed to at the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
I was so bummed that when I got hurt, and I was like, man, like that sucked, Like, I think Scum versus Scum that night would have been so cool. But, yeah, his match was so awesome, though, at the Cow Palace against Cage, Mundo, and Cobb.
That's what I've heard.
Cody Rhodes and Joey Ryan were awesome in the cage, too. Don't get me wrong. But, like, it was like this for, like, if you want to say match of the night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how good those four were versus Cody, who's just on another level, and Joey Ryan, who's on another level too. So,
all right, Dale, what you got next for Adam?
So this next one's gonna come from Kevin Gill.
All right,
he snuck in a couple questions for us. Who is the most impressive professional wrestler coming out of NorCal that people don't know about yet? You might have already touched on a little bit.
I think it's Carl. Carl Fredericks is the guy. He's trying to put the West Coast on the map. He bleeds West Coast, and Northern California especially gets referred to as a graveyard, and he hates that. He's got to fire up his ass about it. And I've wrestled him a few times on bigger shows. Like he had to team with Jeff Cobb against the Reno Scum one time, and he delivered. So I would put the weight of NorCal on Carl's back, and he'd be able to do well with it. He's got the opportunity to do what I wanted to do, except wrestling sucked. Like when I got into it, wrestling was awful as far as indies go, especially. So yeah, he's got a really good platform to be able to do it right now, and a big audience, and social media is so huge, and he's good at it, and stuff like this. I appreciate you guys letting him on your show too, and
Definitely.
like you said, or months or whatever. It just helps,
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. Like, people are like, I don't want to do a podcast. I'm like, well, it's like a free commercial for as long as you like.
Absolutely.
I ramble. I told
Thank
people
you.
are watching me talk forever. So buy my shirts.
That's right.
All right, so most of us that know you know you're a Rancid, huge Rancid fan. So
Yeah.
what would you label as their best album?
I'm a big Out Come the Wolves fan, and a big Life Won't Wait fan. So toss up between that. I'm so wishy-washy on like Buster's like that too. People ask us like, "What's your favorite?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I don't know. It just depends what mood I'm in, But yeah, Rancid's one of the first bands that got me into punk rock when I was in middle school. I've been fortunate enough through Kevin Gill to meet Lars Fredrickson, who's a big wrestling fan. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen the CM Punk documentary. He's the punk rocker guy on that, but he lives in San Francisco, so he comes to the wrestling shows a lot. I'm gonna go with Out Come the Wolves. That's the album that's on the front of my trunks. That's actually Lars on my crotch. I've been saying when I debuted on Impact with or not debut, but one of the matches I had on Impact, I wore those trunks, and Lars was like, "Man, it's so cool to see my face on your crotch."
One of my claims to fame, Adam, at that show up in Tahoe, Lars punked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took his cane and he shoved it in my chest as he was seconding Big Lance to the ring.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was running security that night. So, yeah, he was cool, though, but,
He's a good dude.
how that goes, man. What you got next for Adam Dale?
All right, so say you're at a Rancid concert. What are and obviously you've already kind of touched on some mosh pit encounters that you've had with Luster. What's some rules and etiquette when you're in that pit?
I don't start fights. I'll finish them. Luster finishes them. Yeah, if someone falls down, I help them back up. I try not to hit the people on the outside of the circle of the pit that are just kind of standing there, like helping people up and watching the music. I don't know, man. Like, moshing can be violent, or there's ska bands where you're kind of skanking. It's more dancing. I don't know about etiquette. I just if someone's jumping off the stage, I catch them. It's always funny when Luster used to stage dive because it was like everybody would part.
You want to catch him?
Oh God, there's a 6'3" and 250-pound dude.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. So I don't know. I just have fun. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need to start nothing.
Truth. So this next question here comes from Mr. LaDon Love, one of my coworkers at ESPN. He wanted to know, who were your top 5 favorite tag teams when you were growing up?
The Rockers and Demolition for sure. And then I didn't know about the Road Warriors because I only got WWF when I was a kid. And so when the Legion of Doom came in, I was like, who are these guys? And I thought they were Demolition ripoffs. And then they started killing everybody. And I was just like, yeah, they're really cool. I actually like the Nasty Boys a lot too. We do Pity City. Homage to them. And so Rockers, Demolition, LOD, Nasties. I don't know. Tough. I liked what was Sean and Diesel at that point, 2 dudes with attitudes or whatever. Okay. A little later on. And I'm only talking from when I was a kid. I obviously respect people who paved the way for me. I hated the Hart Foundation when I was a kid. Always rooted against them, man. Like, if you're a white meat babyface, like, it was just too much for me. Like, I hated it. You had to have a little bit of something. I mean, the Rockers, like, yeah, they were white meat, but like, they partied or something. You know what I mean? Like, Hart Foundation was like, we're gonna wrestle you. Like, that's how I felt. And but Luster and I like get that comparison more than the Road Warriors. I feel like they're like, you guys are like cross between like Demolition and the Hart Foundation. I'm like, wow, that 2 really awesome teams to be compared to. So I'm cool with that.
Right. All right. What you got next for him, Dale?
All right. Next up, Mitch Valentine, who we've had recently on our podcast as well. He wanted to know what are some of your memories from Beer Brawl?
This is just a party. I don't know what he wants me to say. Like, Luster's band played. I surprised a bunch of people by showing up one time because they didn't think I was going to come. It was just a party at Rick Luxury's house. I don't know. It was filmed. It was on True TV. I'm on True TV with my face blurred out. I don't know, like, how to answer that question. It was like any other party I've been to, except there's a bunch of wrestlers there. There wasn't a lot of chicks, I guess. That's my memory of Beer Brawl. It's like, where's the chicks?
Right.
There was like 4 dudes' girlfriends.
When you showed up and there's no women there, I said, you think you were being ribbed?
No, I mean, it was just fun. It was just the boys drinking, at Rick's house, and I don't know. It was okay.
All right.
They've always treated me well, so.
Cool. What you got next from Dale?
All right. I'm an anonymous emailer. Wanted to know about the beef between you and Luster and Hood Slam, specifically the Stoners. Is there one?
Yeah. I don't know if there'd be, like, I don't know. Like, people just don't like Luster and I. But it's kind of like I talked about earlier when the promoter was mad about my daughter being sick. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you say negative things about me on Facebook, because I've never seen anyone who says anything negative about Luster or me or the BGC ever come up to us and say anything to us in person,
Right.
So I don't really know if people have a problem with us. I see it on Facebook, don't get me wrong, because like the power of the screenshot, right? Where like, and then
Keyboard warriors, that's what they call them, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, someone sends you a text message and like, this guy's like talking about BGC, or this guy's talking about the Reno Scum, and I don't know, like, I heard there was beef with the Stoners forever, and like, I mean, I'm not a saint. Like, I've replied back to things I've seen before, but like, we wrestled them, and I expected them to, like at that time they were trashing us, and their trainer was trashing us on the internet, and so I expected to have to talk about that, and I didn't, and they were professional, and we worked them, so I was just like, it's just an internet gimmick for people to not like us, like, and I've worked for Hood Slam, like, I don't know, they're successful,
Yeah, they are.
For me, like, and this isn't a slight, and I know they're going to take it as a slight, like, it's okay, you know what I mean? I did awesome at the merch table. Sam, the Sheik, Kanabadi. Yeah, he paid me very well. He gave me my fee. He took care of me. He actually paid me extra because he enjoyed my match with Choopy so much. But the thing, like, people think Hood Slam's great because it's like a big party. It's like Beer Brawl. I'm sure they'll hate me saying that too, with wrestling and females, though.
The one major difference.
I mean, there's a lot of hot chicks at Hood Slam, don't get me wrong. Like, whatever. That's awesome that you're wrestling in front of them and they can drink and whatever. But like my match with Choopy was super over, and like I worked whatever, an Adam style match, you know what I mean? Bunch of false finishes and tombstones and kickouts and blah 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 blah. But like then I watched the other part of the show, like comedy stuff or Doc Atrocity or Drugs Bunny. Like everything's just as over as everything else. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's hard to judge by what's good, because what is good, you know what I mean, as long as people are reacting to you. So they're successful, and I think a lot of times that they're blinded by their own success because they're very angry a lot of times on the internet, like I see guys like Johnny Butabi or Plinko or whatever he goes by. He's like, I'm so good and I'm a draw and nobody will book me. And I'm like, well, like I always relate it like Walter Payton. My grandpa taught me this when I was a little kid. Walter Payton said, when you're good, you'll tell everybody, but when you're great, everybody will tell you.
There it is.
And if people aren't blowing up your inbox for bookings and giving you your worth, then maybe you're not worth that. I don't know. I know that rubbed people the wrong way. That's not me talking smack. PG-13, Todd.
Love it, Adam.
That's just me saying, like, I didn't think I was getting what I deserved, so I worked harder. Yeah. I didn't complain about it on the internet. So as far as beef goes, like, on my end, there's no beef. If you hate me, whatever, because I'm successful too, and I'm happy with that, and I'm content with that, and I don't have to prove anything to anybody in California.
I got to pick up on this, man. You can hate me now, but you won't stop me, or whatever it was. The Nas theme song you used to use, right?
Yeah, I used to use that.
The Wannabe Brother in SPW, and you had your hair and cornrows and all that.
I was the trendsetter, and
That's right.
I had just won the SPW heavyweight title, and there was fans giving me a bunch of crap, and like, I love punk rock, but I love all forms of music. I love hip hop, and I heard that Nas song, and I didn't even know how old it was, you know, because I'm really late to the game at getting into music, because all the stuff I listen to is like from the 80s, you know, punk rock and like early 90s. I was like, yeah, man, this is my jam right now, because like Nas was so angry on it and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I just hate me, I don't care. Rick Luxury uses it now, you know. A lot of people hate him, whatever. Like,
yeah, man.
You know, like we're all in this for like the same rate. Like we loved wrestling, you know, like the beefs, and I get it. Like I'm guilty too, but like who cares? Like it's so stupid. And like I was putting over social media. There's a really bad side to social media that professional wrestlers utilize, where they do these work shoot rants, you know, I hate this guy because he said I suck, and I'm like, dude, like, just put yourself over. That's what it's a commercial. Like, show everybody how awesome you are. Don't mention someone else's name. Like I just did. I gave everybody a commercial for them instead of talking about me to get my point across. But
yeah,
you know, just be you and be happy. I mean, shit, hell, like they draw 1,000 people at $20 a ticket. That's $20,000 at the gate.
yes, it is.
Come on, what you all mad about?
Yeah.
You ain't getting none of that money. Well, I can't imagine you're not, because Sam's a dope dude.
How Booker T used to say to Adam, don't hate the player, hate the
game, man. Yeah.
All right. So one final question for you, Adam, before we wrap things up here. This is coming from a Mr. R. Felix Finch, aka the Frisco Flame. He's wondering, what is your most embarrassing in-ring moment during your wrestling career, or do you have one?
I don't know. There was a time, like in the Fog City days, like I don't know what it was, man, but I was crapping my pants in the ring. I don't know if my diet or what.
Cena did that, didn't he?
Huh?
Cena did that one time.
Who?
John Cena. He
Oh, I'm sure just about every wrestler has, man. Like, I mean, I know a bunch of guys who've done it. Like, but we were like full swing. Like, we kicked it into fifth gear with the Scum, and people thought I was doing it on purpose. I was like, no, man. Like, my guts are just effed up, dude. Like, but it wasn't embarrassing. Like, I don't know. I don't have a lot of that I can like pinpoint. You know. I don't think I've ever been embarrassed in the ring. Honestly, I get embarrassed like with real stuff. Like I wrestled on my birthday one time, and Lester surprised me with a big old bottle of Jack Daniels, and then the whole crowd sang me happy birthday. Like that's not the attention I want when I'm in the ring. I like the "this is awesome" chants or the "oi" chants, but like when it gets real, like I'm not introverted, but I am. Like I just like to keep to myself. I like to, you know, I've done all the partying and stuff. I like to stay at home. It's not that I don't like people. I have enough friends. If you want to be my friend, add me on Facebook, kind of deal. So I don't need a spotlight on me. I don't need to go out anymore. So stuff like that. I remember the bottle of Jack Daniels kind of embarrassed me.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have like a whole like, oh, my pants fell down or my tights ripped, or, you know, I crapped myself in the ring a few times. But I think that was more unpleasant for my opponents than, you know.
True.
It's not like it seeped through because we were wrestling in like black jean shorts at the time. So, but yeah.
Hey, Adam, you know, at this time, man, we would like to give you the opportunity to promote whichever shows you have coming up, whichever projects that you're involved in, or any social media accounts which you would like to share with our viewers. So without further ado, my man, the floor is yours.
You can follow me on Twitter at Thornstowe_scum. Man, I'm bad at that. I might have had that backwards. I'll pull it up on my phone as I talk. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Reno Scum and buy our t-shirts. You can also get this t-shirt off of shopimpact.com. Everything helps in my recovery. My Twitter, is Thornstowe_scum. What's my Instagram? Sorry, see, I'm so bad at this, you guys. And you guys told me I was going to get to do this. My Instagram handle is Adam_Thornstowe. I'm sponsored through Dynamic Muscle, supplement company with protein, pre-workouts, fat burners, creatine, glutamine. So if you go to Dynamic, that's Dynamic with a K, muscle.com, and you use the code Adam_Thornstowe at checkout, you get 10% off. That's probably it. You can find me on Facebook. There's an Adam Thornstowe account that I used to have on Facebook that I don't have access to, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Oh, you mean the one that I kept on tagging on all the posts promoting?
Probably. Everyone
that one.
share my stuff. I'm like, oh man, I don't have access to that. It's got to be, I don't like to put out my work name on this or my real name on stuff like this, but you could still find me. It's got this profile picture.
Yeah.
So, other than that, the Reno Wrestle Factory is currently closed right now just because we didn't have a new crop of students, and most of our students are getting work. But you can follow them at Wrestle Factory, I believe, on Twitter, and stay up to date if you're looking to get into professional wrestling. And there's a bunch of great schools across California as well if you're a West Coast person. And obviously, shout out to Impact Wrestling for sticking with me through this injury. I'm very blessed and very fortunate because they could have just fired me. And they didn't, They've ran a bunch of awesome pieces on their digital media stuff through YouTube and with This Ring with Josh Matthews. And shout out behind the scenes guy. His name's Kevin Sullivan, not the Taskmaster. Everyone always asks me that, but we call him Sully. He puts together all those packages for me. He tells me what to shoot and gives me pointers. So big shout out to him as well.
Good stuff, brother.
And my wife and kids always, man. They're number one,
Definitely.
Them. That's my rock. My wife keeps me grounded, man.
Yes, sir. So hey, let me cap this off by saying this. This is a dude who I had the honor and privilege of, being my trainer. This is a dude who picked me up on days when my car was broke down and took me to practice. A dude who lent me money when I wasted all my money at the strip club that one night and bailed me out, even though he charged me interest and made me pay him back about 2 weeks later.
That's what's up.
And more so than anything, the dude who, like I said, man, you gave us this time, Adam, and you granted us this interview, on your downtime, and we really appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I appreciate you guys, man. It was fun. Real quick, I remember a wild night I had with Drake Nelson and Dale.
Oh, yes.
We don't have time to get into it. Maybe another time, man. You guys have always been good to us, and you're all friends, man. We don't get to see each other, but anytime you guys want me on or you got open space, man, you hit me up and we'll set it up.
One love, Adam.
Thank you, guys.
We can sit here and talk wrestling the whole entire night, as y'all can see, with the amount of time that we've actually talked already. But hey, we got to go ahead and wrap things up here. So thank you for joining us for this episode of the No Gimmicks podcast for our interview with Impact Wrestling Zone, the Rock Legend Scum, one half of the Reno Scum, Adam Thornstowe. So thanks for tuning in. Remember, we are no gimmicks, no image, all wrestling, all of the time.
Boy, see that? Oh, it doesn't come off that way. There we go. I do it that way to the other camera. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Adam.
Please subscribe to our official YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/The No Gimmicks Podcast. Please make sure that you subscribe publicly so that way we are aware of your support. Check out Craig Perkins' articles on ProWrestling.com. We would like to hear from our viewers, so please leave us some feedback in our comment section. Also, please like our Facebook and follow us on Twitter at The No Gimmicks PC. Remember, sharing is caring. Feel free to share the links to our episodes with other pro wrestling fans on your social media accounts as well. That does it for this episode of the No Gimmicks Podcast. For my tag team partner Dale Clifford in Fernley, Nevada, this is Todd Smith in Bristol, Connecticut signing off. Until next time around, y'all take care.